Hey guys, Brent Hull Build Show. Talking today about the most expensive part of this house. It's not the millwork, it's not the brick, it's the roof. I'm going to tell you all about it today on the Build Show. This roof is called a Ludowichi roof. Ludowichi is a 130-year-old company out of Ohio, okay? And this is their roof. It was custom made, it was handmade, okay? And look, this roof is beautiful, okay? You've got all these different colors, you've got these warps and bends in it. That isn't a mistake and that isn't an accident. You also see on some areas where we've got some sweeps in the corner. So there isn't a valley, it's just a sweep to valley. And I'm gonna show you some dormers that are sided and done on the dormers. This roof on this house is incredible, okay? It's beautiful, it's historic, and it'll last 500 years, okay? Now, it's guaranteed 75 years, but I'm gonna tell you why it's gonna last 500 years because of the way it's made. Now, let me show you this roof and we'll show you what's going on. And it's hard to see. Basically what it's trying to do is replicate a wood roof, okay? A wood shake roof. And if you can look at the back side of this, okay, you see this kind of torn edge. It's almost like a piece of wood is just kind of rotted on the end. And then you look on the face side and you see these kind of ripples and jags. You see where they've got movement to this thing and little lips. You'll notice that there's some different colors, okay? Now I've talked to my Ludowichi people and they're experts there, say, you know, how would you make this today? How would you do this? Some of these things, they don't know, right? They go, well, in the past, what we would have done to get that color is we would have turned up the kiln and we would have flashed it, right? So that we could get this dark color. Today they hand color everything, and so they don't do it the same way today. But all these extra blobs and stuff on there, as if things have grown over time, is part of the, you know, customization that they put into this thing. But you see the back side of this thing. These are clay, okay? They are fired so that there's about a 1% water, okay? Now compare this to kind of a new tile roof today, okay? A new tile roof is oftentimes concrete. Now the problem with concrete is it's very porous, and so you actually have to treat that roof. The other thing is the profile of that concrete is much thicker than clay, and so it ends up being kind of fat and kind of just thick on top of your roof. It doesn't look authentic. Ludowichi is a company that cares about authenticity. They actually promoted these things in the 20s called the Tuileries, and they were basically documented evidence of historic roofs in England and France and how they reproduced roofs for today. Remember, the 1920s is the period revival, happens in the 1920s where you're doing the French and English and Mediterranean houses. So all those barrel tile roofs and all those other things were what Ludowichi made. Now, the back of these things say Ludowichi Chicago. They used to have a number of different facilities where they were making tiles. They make them all now in New Lexington, Ohio. But this is a 130-year-old company that cares about authenticity, that cares about quality. And because they have such a low moisture content, that means they will not effervesce, right? They will not have the salts and other things coming out of them. Sometimes with concrete tile roofs, you actually have to go up and paint them and redo them. Remember we shot that video at Alice Beach. Alice Beach had those concrete tile roofs that they painted white, right? That's kind of typical for a concrete roof, that you actually have to maintain it. This roof, been here since 1928, and as you see the close-ups on this roof and the twists and the lifts and things like that, they actually do that by design. And so the factory will actually take these roofs and they'll create warps and create bends and things like that, and then color them even. So it's almost an infinite type of coloring that you can get on these roofs so that it has that historic look and that historic feel. This is something that if we were going to try to make today, I bet it's $1 million roof, right? Because it's so much customization, there's so much work to get this thing right. They'll last so long. You can walk on these roofs. The walkability on these roofs is really high. And so you're talking about a roof that's guaranteed for 75 years. Now, I tell clients it's a 200-year roof, right? We had a big hailstorm came through Fort Worth in 1995, and it really didn't do anything to this roof. And so this is a very long-lasting, sustainable roof, something that will last forever. And it's certainly something that you wouldn't ever want to take off. It's something you want to maintain. So as you just pan up this roof, you'll see all these little twists and lifts and everything. And look how this valley's created, right? This valley, there's not a copper valley, there's not a open valley, it is a sweep to valley. And that's what's all over this house. You'll see that in historic buildings and things like that. When they didn't have the money for copper, they didn't have the money for lead, they often would sweep it with the material like this, so you got a really authentic detail there. Looks awesome. Okay, so we're in the attic, right? We're actually looking out over top of this sweep and then also on that dormer. Okay, so traditionally you go to England, you'll see that the side of the dormers were often covered with slate or covered with the roof tile, which is what they've done there. You got to get a feel for how that looks. But if you look down on this right here, you get a feel for that sweep and how they've cut individual tiles to go around and to create that sweep. And you also see the flashing underneath. It's really an awesome detail. Check it out. So Ludwig Tiles, right? They're still a handmade company. They're still a company that's making a sustainable, hundreds of year product, right? This one's almost 100 years old and it looks brand new. That 1% moisture content's a big deal. The handmade quality and the care that they have about historic authenticity, it's awesome. Makes this house awesome, makes this house even better. Be sure to follow me on Instagram and Facebook, Hull Millwork Hull Homes. Sign up for the newsletter. If you're watching on YouTube, be sure to hit the subscribe button. I'm Brent Hull. Thanks for watching.